Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads, a podcast that helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads. I'm Susie, and together we will be taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, and let's get this episode going. Welcome back, gorgeous souls. I know. It's it's almost getting to a point where it's like, what now? Right? As far as whatever's going on in the world. And it's borderline ridiculous over here in the States, I'm telling you. But the best thing for us to all do collectively is to stay informed, to stay grounded. I know it's hard, but sometimes we have just got to stop doom scrolling. And I know a lot of us, myself included, are, looking at news snippets and, getting information from different people. And sometimes we need to give our nervous system a break. So, today we're talking about the new moon, and I'm going to continue on the moon series. It is the best time right now to just experience this new moon energy, even with all the chaos going around right now. So, take a big deep breath in. Just invite that deep inhale in and let it out. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Just kind of give yourself maybe a little shimmy. Yeah. Sometimes we just got to do things for ourselves. And not sometimes, sorry, we should be doing things for ourselves like this. Just a couple of seconds of a deep breath, allowing you to unclench your jaw, relax the shoulders, just give yourself a little shimmy shake and enjoy life because right now I know it feels like just the most utter shit show, right? That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. And at the end of the day, though, you need to take care of you, okay? Your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your physical health. And all of that to say that I love you so, so much. I know it may feel lonely out there, but you are not alone. At this time, this is when we really hold on to our community, onto our friends that nurture us, and family that truly cares for us. Okay, this is a time for you to surround yourself with good, energetic people where you don't feel drained. So, a little housekeeping. If you're not part of my free newsletter coven, you got to get on that. Serious. It's free 99. I give y'all a card pull for the week and kind of just giving y'all the rundown of the energy that's happening in the space. Yeah. So, for example, we have a new moon in Cancer this Wednesday, right? The day that this drops. And you'll get this episode first if you are on my Patreon. What? So you got a Patreon? Yeah, if this is your first episode, welcome. Welcome, friends. Yeah, so I've had a Patreon. It was just kind of sitting there. I never nurtured it. I never posted about it, mainly because I was scared. I did have that internal fear of like, what if I don't give enough for someone who's paying for this tier? What if I get burned out? What if, I feel like I should have been charging more? What if someone hates it? A lot of those what ifs was a lot of imposter syndrome. And a lot of those what ifs were just my cute little brain trying to keep me safe because at the time I was really trying to have myself be seen and heard, but then I was scared to be seen and heard. And you're probably like, what the fuck does that even mean? So basically, I wanted my Instagram and my TikTok to pop off, but then I was worried, what if it does pop off and I'm getting like all this onset of like tarot readings and Reiki sessions and oil orders and candle orders, and I wouldn't be able to to keep up with it because I have a mundane job. And so I always had that fear in the back of my head. And because I had that, I'm sure my energy was going into my socials. So then a lot of it wasn't getting pushed because it's what I want, but I always had that underlying fear. And that really takes us into this new moon, right? Because beginnings can be very scary, they can be uncomfy. So, in speaking, and you've heard her on this podcast before, in speaking with my friend Elena, she had, I love her. She's a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius rising. And the part of her that's just like, yeah, dude, like, just fuck it. I just put it up there. If nobody gets on it, awesome. If someone does, awesome. And that's where I say I am, but then like deep down, I'm like, but what if? Like I really get into that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm putting so much energy into this. And what if I don't get any signups? What if no one pays for the tiers? What if people hate it and it sucks? And so at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna launch this thing. So I did. So on my Patreon, you can be a member. You can join for free. I will drop things. I have dropped things that are free. You'll actually find this podcast on my Patreon, but what you'll also find is the bonus episodes of spirituality on my Patreon, and that's only available for members. So you do have to sign up. There's no charge. It's just you do have to join to be a member to get those bonus episodes. And it's a place for me to let my Virgo hair down. A lot of times I get stuck in my head where, I feel like it has to be perfect and I don't want to drop something and it's doesn't seem right. And that's where I tell you, gorgeous soul, that you just got to do the thing, whether it's perfect or not, because a tower moment's going to happen if you just continue just to like, well, it's not the right time. Well, I should do this. When you're not really actively going towards a path, you're just stuck at the crossroads. So I hope you'll catch me on either of those free things. I shoot, I like the tiers that I have up there. You'll get one that has Reiki and classes and, downloads and be part of like community spell work. I just want us to come together as a community. And it also helps support what I'm doing because this podcast isn't free. I occupy space and I do use software to help me, take it out into the ethers and stuff like that. So I don't want to stop doing it, is all. All right, let's talk about the new moon, right? Right now, currently, we are in Cancer season. We just began. And I know some of y'all are feeling it. When I kind of took a poll, really feeling and kind of taking the drama of what's happening unfolding before our eyes and the fear, right, kind of out of it. Feeling almost a little lost, really inner feelings, heavily wanting to purge and cry, wanting to feel something new, and that's very, very Cancer. But we're talking about just the new moon. If you go back, why the moon, I really break down why we connect with the moon and how you can and what it means when it's in the different signs. So I don't want this episode to just be about the new moon in Cancer. This I'm strictly talking about the phases, and then when I talk about what you can do under this moon, I can kind of give you some things like since we're in Cancer, I would do a lot of water magic. So things like that. But first things first, the new moon. All right. This is planting of the seed. This is where we really cannot see the moon. And as I was talking about the full moon, in astronomy, the new moon is really the first phase of the lunar cycle. So I kind of did the full moon because we had come up on the full moon. And I wanted you to be prepared in case you wanted to do, learn a little bit and, make some full moon magic. But now we're really starting at the first phase of the lunar cycle. So this happens when it's exactly between the sun and the earth. So the new moon really marks the moment when the moon and the sun um, are are the same, okay? Same elliptical longitude, if you will. It's invisible to us. So if you were to go out and look up at the sky during a new moon phase, you're not going to see it. It's not visible. It's completely in front of the sun. And so this period lasts for about 3 days until the waxing crescent moon. All right. So this is the waxing crescent coming into, or is the next phase. That's when you really see that little sliver of light. Um, and astronomers and some witches acknowledge the new moon during the 3 days where you cannot see it, where it's invisible to the naked eye. But some people actually do, or other cultures don't consider the moon as quote unquote new until you see that sliver of light. So they really see what we may see, or what we may call the new moon as the dark moon, and they don't consider the new moon until you actually see the sliver of light. And that's honestly going to be your call. You follow your intuition. So if you are looking at the nothingness, right? Because we're seeing the new moon as like the void. It is dark. There's nothing, right? There's nothingness. There's no light whatsoever. Obviously, completely different for the full moon, where the full moon is illuminating the night. Now we are in pitch black darkness, if you would think like old times where there's no light pollution. So some people or cultures or whomever really see this nothingness, this void as very sacred. Because if you think about the darkness, it's some people see that as a gift, right? Because this is a place where if you're thinking, let's say literally, right, when you are birthed, it's dark. You're within darkness. And when you come out, there's light. When you plant a seed in the soil, it stays in darkness until it starts growing and then it sees light. So, totally up to you what you feel most called to. Whether the new moon to you is a sacred space of the void where you don't see anything, awesome. Or maybe you align more with the new moon being there's that first sliver of light, that's the new moon. Because the moon is becoming new and it's getting ready to grow in its fullness. So, totally up to you. Okay, let's do. Okay, so a little scientific information. The new moon rises at sunrise and sets at sunset. The tides are also higher at the new moons, and the increased gravity could intensify or enhance energy and emotions. So, if we're thinking from a magical standpoint, the new moon, the full moon, and the dark moon are more felt intensely, and you really feel that energy with these three in these phases. This is why they get a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Attention. Golly. The new moon, the full moon, and the dark moon get the most attention because this is when it impacts us the most. This is when we really feel that pull, the majority, right? And this is when nature really feels that pull too, with the tides and et cetera, et cetera. All of these things I really went into detail, again, in Why the Moon, if you wanted to kind of go back and listen to that. But and when we're looking at the new moon, this is different obviously from the full moon because we're really feeling deeply on the unseen. And the new moon is can be about a lot of about a beginnings and really enhancing in your consciousness and your awareness. And this is really coming or bringing out more focus or more attention. And this is where we really begin to step out of our comfort zones and to kind of venture out and be adventurous and try new things, even if the new thing is just switching up your coffee order. And I know you're probably like, oh, okay, I was thinking like existential things. And yeah, it could be very much like, you know what? I'm going to venture out to really, I'm going to quit this job and take the job that I was offered, that I really, really want, but I was so scared to get. Yeah, that it could be that too. But if we need, you need to remember that your cute brain, your beautiful brain, it it's trying its best to protect you. So when we're venturing out and pushing the boundaries and stepping out of our comfort zone and being adventurous, if that's not your normal, your brain is like, whoa, 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 what are we doing here? And this is why, for some of us, new moons can be difficult because transitions are very challenging. New moons can be uncomfortable. New moons can also be more challenging or hard because you're pushing those boundaries. And when it comes to the new moon, if you find it's a little difficult for you, be gentle when you're exploring the discomfort, right? Because you don't want to just go gung ho because you don't want to come to that brick wall, slam into it, and then you feel depleted and you feel defeated. This is just gently coming into the new moon. And it can be stuff like pleasure or um trying a new board game. Like I said, changing up your coffee order because that is still new. If you order the same thing all the time in the summer or in the winter, or in the fall or in the spring, maybe switch it up a bit. Go crazy, get matcha instead. You know what I mean? Like this is the newness where you can kind of take that step and then see how it feels. The new moon, you want to think of if it's difficult for you, you want to come into this like through the lens of a kid, right? Like a child. And they don't know of the world, right? The innocence. Or even if you think of like a kitten or a puppy or just babies in general, right? They're walking, they're talking, and they're experiencing things for the very first time. And it's new and it's exciting, and they don't understand like the dangers, right? It's like, don't run because then you can like fall and skin your knee kind of thing, right? Those are the things that we learn along the way. So we want to nurture these things. We want to make sure that we're still kind of playful. It's okay to be a little messy. It's okay to take risks and maybe even say like, well, it can't be me, but then be like, well, why can't it be me? Why not? Why not me? Why not now? Like, what is it about this thing where I think that either you feel you're not deserving or you're not enough, or it's just, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's really for me. Why? This is where you need to kind of take a step back. It's like floating above yourself, looking at yourself at this situation or this thing, and then ask yourself, well, why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? It's like, this is what came in right now. It was so funny because just moments ago, I told my husband, have you seen these Labubu things? And he's like, no. And I was like, you haven't seen Labubu like on any of your feed? Obviously, he's not going to see that, right? That's not part of his FYP. But so I show him, right? He's like, those are the ugliest things I have ever seen. But if you're looking at something like that with childlike wonder and you're like, oh, I can never get that. Why? If you kind of like it, if to you this thing is so ugly, it's cute, why not get the thing? Oh my gosh, because it is so expensive to spend that much money on it. No. Okay. But are you deserving of it? Yeah. Now, price be told, yeah, those things are kind of expensive. But what drew you to that Labubu thing? It's like taking me back. I was seeing a couple reels where, or was it on TikTok? I don't know, somewhere, where people are like the Labubus are like the new Beanie Babies, or something like that new fad that comes in. And I really like the story of the Labubu, how it came about, and I'm so happy that the person that created it is now has all these amazing sales because he business was bad, until a famous person made them famous, right? By accident. Um, but if you're looking at things like that, maybe you go back and like, okay, well, what is it? Like, why, besides price, right? If price was no option, if money was no option, would you get it? Oh, I don't know. Like, what would people think? And that's where we kind of peel back those layers. You know what I mean? So what? People can be snarky all day long. Let me tell you that people are always going to have something to say. That's why you need to do what you want to do anyway. You're not going to make everybody happy, okay? As much as we try. And I say we because I try to make everybody happy. But you can't appease everybody. It's just it's not going to happen. So within this new moon energy, this energy that lives like that young inner child, inner teen, right? That willingness to just, if I didn't get it the first time, I'm gonna try again and try again, and I'm just gonna really let my hair down and just really feel the newness with childlike wonder is a beautiful way to slowly integrate the energy of the new moon if it's difficult for you, or if you've never harnessed new moon energy before. All right, so now this new moon is a perfect time for you to take a pause, take a breath, and start asking yourself questions as you're starting to set your intention. And when you're setting intentions, you really want to believe your intentions. It's just like your manifestations, right? If you really want that new job, we got to also start or continue on with, I want this new job or I want this promotion. Why do you want it? Because I've earned it. I do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. I know I could be the best at it. Great. But you really got to believe in that, not like, well, I know what I'm doing, but if they went with someone else, I guess it's okay. Because I don't really know if I'm, up for it. We really got to believe our intentions. This is a great time to start asking you, well, what if I didn't get that promotion? Or what if I did ask for the raise? And being in a space where you are so grounded and you have that root that even if you don't get it, you don't receive it, you still are going forward on that journey, right? Because a lot of times we don't start new things because we worry about like, what if we fail? What if I posted that I'm going to lose 10 pounds by August and I don't do it? And now I'm a liar and people are going to make fun of me and they can't believe it. And, or they might be like, "Ugh, I knew she wasn't going to be able to do that." What? Not going to happen, right? Not going to happen. We are our own worst critic. So, this is a time for you to write the intention, set reflections, and really believe in it, trust it, be confident in it. That's where we root in our belief of your dreams, of whatever it is. And we want to make sure that we're helping that along. So if you want the new job, you can't, I mean, I guess you could, but you got to help the universe out a little bit. You can't just say, I want this job at this place doing this position. And then you don't put your resume in. Like you don't go for that job posting. Wh- How do you think that's going to happen? Boo boo? That's not going to happen. You also want to be clear about your intention. You want to be clear about the seeds that you are planting. And once you have all of those, you really want to make sure that you do your daily practice And a lot of things, it's almost like a set it and forget it kind of thing. Unless you're really going for something tangible like a new car, a new job, a raise, things like that, because then you really want to help it along. We don't want to obsess over it, but we do want to help it along. That's why planting these seeds under this new moon is very, very important. And when you plant the seed, we're not just planting like, oh, this is what I want. Awesome. That's a good place to start. Why do you want it? How are you going to feel when you get this thing? What does it look like when you get this thing? And that's what I'm saying when I was launching my Patreon. I was like, I want a Patreon. Everyone's doing a Patreon. I want a Patreon. Obviously, that's the thing to be doing. So yeah, I did the Patreon, but I didn't nurture that intention. I didn't cultivate that soil, right? I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't watering it. I wasn't giving it any plant food. I mean, yeah, we set it and forget it, but then how am I supposed to get people on my Patreon if they don't fucking know I have a Patreon? You know what I mean? And that's because I still had those fears. So there was no way I could cultivate my soil. Instead, it's like the seed was there and it's like, cool, I guess I'm just gonna chill here until you're actually ready because I really wasn't ready. All right, so let's say you're ready. All right, Susie, new moon, here we go. Well, we got to make space for it. We got to clear out a lot of either the distractions. So if we take the seed, right, we want to make sure that we clear a space, right? We need to notice what's going to stop the growth of our seed besides not watering it, right? So what that means is what obstacles could you see already happening? All right. So you get overwhelmed writing a resume, or you just really, really like I don't know, your chai latte, and to switch it up, what if you hate it and it gives you like the worst day ever, you know? So those little things, those are the things you want to identify, right? So we talked about moon mapping on Why the Moon. And those are the things you write down because you're going to cultivate this throughout the phases of the moon. The new moon is the starting. The new moon is the idea, the thought, the feeling. So we're in Cancer season, right? So think of this as the Ace of Cups. It's the first of the minor arcana. It's this beautiful goblet with water flowing from it. This is the first feeling of, you know what? Yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna, fuck it. I'm gonna dye my hair purple. I've been wanting to. This is what I want to do. I can't wait. Cool. So as we sat down, right? Okay, we got to make an appointment, right? If you're gonna do it professionally, or you got to go to the store, you got to figure out which shade of purple. And not only that, but are you doing it on your own? You're going to get it done, or is someone going to help you? Then you got to think of the care afterwards, right? So shampoo, conditioner. I've never dyed my hair ever in my life. So I hope this is somewhat landing. Um, yeah, so all of those things. This is where you get that newness, right? So as you begin this first thought, now we're really cultivating the after, the steps needed in order to get the thing that you set for the new moon. This is your connection to yourself. This is where you're checking in on maybe things that were holding you back a little bit. Why did it take you so long to want to dye your hair purple? Or why are you set on this one coffee order? Or why haven't you asked for this promotion already? Now, some of it was, well, I couldn't ask for that promotion until I've given 3 years to the company, right? They want to make sure that I can do my job. Others is like, I don't know, I guess I just woke up and I was feeling purple and I really want to do it. I've been seeing a lot of videos. I think it's for me. And then we begin those steps, right? Because we are now in this energy space. So you're visualizing it. And what I'm meaning about clearing the space is that once you plant that seed, yes, you have to nurture it. Yes, you got to water it, but you also got to make space for it because you don't want to plant the seed where your garden bed is like overrun with a lot of plants already because you want to give this enough space and sun and room to grow. Also, you want to make sure that you clear the space of weeds, weeds that may hinder the growth of this seed because not all weeds are bad. So if we're looking at the new moon and we're not talking rhetorical, right? When you look at this new moon and you're like, yes, I'm ready to do this thing. I want you to start looking around your actual physical space. So, for myself today, I was like, okay, Sunday night, I was like, all right, come Monday, I am going to clean this back room. I need to create space. I can't offer, readings. I can't record my podcast if when I'm sitting at my desk, I see nothing but dust because the window was busted. So there was a lot of dirt. That was what I needed to do today. I needed to do this thing in order to cultivate space. So I already knew when it came down to it, okay, I'm going to dust my area. And as I'm dusting this area, I'm going to come across some things where it's like, do I really need this anymore? Because I like to hold on to things where I'm like, I might need this later. But do I really need it now? And then as I'm going and I'm continuing down the way, I come to, I don't know, what did I come across? Oh, my shelves, my bookshelves. Is this really the way I want my books to be, or do I want journals first so I can start really journaling instead of just waiting for my tarot and quill class, right, to write? I want things to be accessible to me so it's easier for me to, if I see it, I'm gonna do it. And so when you're looking at things like that, it's like, I don't really need to hold on to this anymore. At the time, I needed to hold on to it, but now I feel good to let that go. So once you're tossing things, donating things, you know, kind of saying goodbye to things, right? You're creating more space for yourself. And it can be hard sometimes because it's like, "Oh, this has such a good memories. Like, I don't know if I should really toss this. You need to put it almost like in a bin and then come back to it. But under this new moon, it should give you what you need to depart from it, or at least giving it a thought until maybe the full moon to fully, okay, I'm ready to get rid of it or to donate it or whatnot. That's what the new moons are for. That's why I'm telling you to go into new moons a little gently, okay? The new moon is also a great time for you to change your mind. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, what do you mean? I just set out to do this thing. So why would I change my mind? The reason being is I'm just telling you it's a great time to really sit with your thoughts, right? And there's just a lot going on right now. And I'm sure that your brain is probably just so full of not just everyday thoughts, right? Like, gotta get gas, I gotta go to work, I gotta get this done and call this person, check this email. Um, what are the kids doing? Gotta make dinner. Yes, those are everyday thoughts. Then you got world thoughts, right? Like, I can't believe this is happening. This is the video that I saw, talking to the coworkers about it. And then you're sitting and it's like, oh my God, I hate my job. I need a new job, right? Okay, cool. So you keep thinking, I hate my job, I need a new job. I hate my job, I need a new job. But again, you're not doing what you need to, right? To look into other jobs. So let's say you do start looking into other jobs. right? And the new moon phase is here, it's coming up. As you're sitting with this, I'm just telling you, just gently check in and see what's going on in that cute little brain that's trying to keep you safe. What about the job is it that you hate? And if you're going for that new job or that promotion, but you can't do so for maybe another 6 months, what are you going to do? Live in misery for 6 months? No. This is where we start to go back to our intentions. That's right. So we hate our jobs. What about it do you hate? Well, I have my desk is always full of work because nobody knows how to do their job correctly, so it always lands on me. Okay. Yeah, I feel that. So let's go back. Whatever landed on your desk, is that for you to do? Or was someone asking you, can you do this for me? You're just so good at it. And I can't wrap my brain around it. And I have another project, but I know you'll probably get done with this faster than I can. Do you mind? And you're just like, yeah, I guess I'll do it because no one else in the office knows how to do it except for me. But that's not your job. So when you're sitting here in the new moon and you're visualizing these things, yeah, that would make me grouchy too. But as a struggling perfectionist, right, where I'm breaking that habit, I would go, but you know what? I could do this, but I already have this other project going on. I have the utmost faith that you can get this done. I know you can. Please, I have so much work and because they're going to keep pushing the boundary. They're not used to you saying no. And you're going to tell them, you know what? I totally get it. If this is not even remotely close to being due, maybe do your other tasks first that you can get done real quick. That way, this could be at the back burner and you can take more time with it because I really got the rest of the stuff to do. But thank you for thinking of me to help you out with this situation. That doesn't come easily to people. I know I'm saying this to you, right? And you're thinking about it and you're kind of visualizing it like, yeah, fucking Heather. Ugh. Sorry if your name is Heather. That just came to my head. I love you. I should have said Karen. But I'm just saying, these are things you got to practice doing and practice saying. So as we're under the Cancer new moon, this would be a perfect time for you to practice that monologue out loud, not just in the brain, when you're in a bath, when you're in the shower, connecting with that water element into what you want to say and connecting with those emotions, right? Because some people will just suck the living energy out of you because they're used to doing it. You were giving them that option, and now that option is no more. So now that you can create that space, you can clear out that. Now you have more space to do what you need, and you don't feel overwhelmed with so many other tasks and so many other projects. All right, so now that we're cultivating, right? Now we're made space. Now we're really understanding our emotions and our thought processes. Now we're understanding our mindset. Now you can create this on your phone or on in your journal or audio, right? And you can do journaling. And when I say journaling, I'm starting to be really mindful when I say journal because journaling can, when I'm saying it's kind of like, I'm not expecting you to write like a journal prompt for it. You totally can. But if you're struggling the way I was struggling to write for whatever reason, your journaling is really either a brain dump, a list, maybe you draw, maybe you doodle, maybe you do journal, right? But I just wanted to kind of preface that. Gratitude lists or gratitude journaling, right? This is a great practice to start at the new moon. And this does not have to be like super crazy, all right? And right now, I feel we all need to switch gears and really think of our abundance mindset. And I don't know if grateful is a word, but kind of grateful that for the positive things that are around us because right now it is so easy to be negative. And honestly, being a human being in this world is just easy to be fucking negative, right? We always go towards the negative. So this could be three things, it could be one thing a day, and maybe you build up on it, but it's a positivity, it's a gratitude list or journal. So it could be as easy as I've done it where I've done it where I would put a post and let's say it's, I don't know, quote unquote flopping, right? No one's really commenting. Nah, I get a few likes here and there. But let's say a week later, 2 weeks, actually, let's be honest, like a month later, there's a comment and it just happened to show up on someone's FYP and they comment something nice on it. Like, this was a beautiful, I don't know, 30-second meditation, or I love the sounds of birds, or this was just what I needed, whatever. That would go into my gratitude list or journal because that made me so happy, right? And it could be something like a friend just sent you a heart emoji thinking of you, and you're just like, oh, yeah. It could be something bigger, like someone paid for your order. You know what I mean? Or maybe you ordered out and they gave you an extra, I don't know, side of French fries. That's gratitude. Maybe I know I've done this before where I woke up like super crabby because I didn't want to go to fucking work. And it just is what it is, right? Because I was tired, whatever. Driving to work, it's but early in the morning. But as I get to a certain part on my drive, when I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw how beautiful the sunrise was. And when I was continuing on my drive and I could get a better like look at it, the way the colors, and I just vividly remember because I was just in such a pissy mood. I just did not, I think I had a bad evening from work and then having to go back the next day. I just still had this sour taste in my mouth. So when I saw the sunrise and the way the colors were just painted across the horizon, I was like, I am grateful for this right here. It just gave me a sense of peace. And I carried that peace all the way to work. I carried that peace all the way inside the building. And it was still a struggle to see certain people, right? Um, but I just kept trying to reflect back to it. And that's what I was grateful for. It can even be when you're doom scrolling and it's like, oh my God, terrible, terrible, terrible. And then you see like the cutest like puppy video you've ever seen. And then you're just like, oh, and then it just gave you that little boost of serotonin. That can also go into your gratitude journal or list. All right, let's get it popping with new moon magic. All right, so the new moon often correlates with your dreams, your wishes, your visions, right? Because we're thinking of that seed that we are planting. And so we're looking at spells for growth, spells for attraction, spells for abundance, right? Spells maybe where you can begin putting your vision board together. On that note, when we're talking about clearing space, especially on your phone, this would be a great time for you to start clearing out your inbox. Let me tell you that I have like an email like where people are like, "Oh, drop your email and we'll send you like I don't know, you'll get 15% off if you sign up for our email list." And I'm just like, "Sure." And then it just goes into that email inbox and then it's done. The way that I had like all these unread emails, and I was like, am I gonna go through all of these? I know they're all spam. And I clicked all, delete all, and it was like in the thousands, you guys. But I made space. You know what I mean? Like I created the space. So this is what we're doing. Especially in your phone, kind of clearing out old photos you don't need anymore, old emails, that's for sure. All of that good stuff. So you can make a vision board. You can do this on Canva or you can write it down. Um, you can even put it on your phone where if you did CapCut. or any editing tool. Sometimes on Instagram it'll say like June photo dump or no faces, for June or whatever. You can kind of use that setup where you can put like as many photos as you want, two, four, six, and you can actually make that your vision board, right? And you can have it on your phone, you can print it out, whatnot. Um, but we're also looking into building up on that. So at least you have the visual down. If you follow me on my socials, every first of the month I always remind y'all it's the first of the month, blow cinnamon through your front door, blah 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 blah. Some people, and honestly, this I do feel more aligned with this because the Gregorian calendar is not it. I talked about it in Why the Moon, right? So, if you don't feel comfortable with the first of the month, it brings more stress because that's when rent is due and bills and all this stuff, right? You can do those first of the month you see rituals on the new moon. So, refreshing your money bowl, blowing cinnamon through your front door. And you know what? It doesn't just have to be cinnamon. You can look up herbs that bring in whatever it is you're wanting to bring in. Good luck, prosperity, good health, protection. Whatever it is that you feel you need, you can use that. Um, you can also, what else? For your abundance. This is, spraying down your front door or the door that you come in through, right? As bringing in your abundance, bringing in whatever it is that you want. So, whatever you see people do on the first of the month, you can actually use that for the new moon, bringing in that new moon energy. You already know what I'm going to say. Moon water. Moon water is the easiest thing you can do, right? It's just filling a vessel up with water, putting it in the windowsill or just wherever, speaking your intention in the water, okay? Whatever you need, whatever you're trying to bring in, and then either drinking that water straight up the next day, putting it in your coffee machine, putting it in your tea, watering your plants with it. And going into plants, I will get into this later, but plant magic, you can actually give your plants a job. So if you have a plant and let's say it's an ivy, right? Because ivies just love to grow and it's just very abundant. That ivy could be your abundance plant. So for you to be bringing in abundance, if you need that tangible, because I know I do, whatever plant you associate that with, um, you're gonna nurture that. So maybe you make moon water for it and you're like, this is for me to nurture my money plant, even though maybe it's not a money plant, it's an ivy, right? But with this, it's gonna bring in my abundance. I'm gonna bring in new clients. I'm gonna get that job, whatever, right? The next steps. So that way you're actually watering that intention. Other things you can do, you can, under this new moon, you could charge your crystals, charge your tarot decks. Shoot, you can charge your pens at work, whatever it is that you use that you really want to bring in, right? So if you're manifesting a new car, this would be a great time. I don't know that the keys to your old car, you're charging. It's like, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this car that has brought me to all these places, but ready for an upgrade because, and there you go, right? Um, if you're waiting on a contract also, you want to charge that pen, okay? It has to either be black or blue. I would charge both. And there you go. Another thing you can do is write a personal check or write a check to yourself. Um, it could be a check. Hold on, let me backtrack. Writing a check to yourself. So go to your bank, okay, or go to a bank, but go to your bank. And those deposits, right? Those little slips, you want to take a couple of those. And that way you're going to write down the amount that you want the universe to pay you. And you're going to have that amount and you're going to charge it under the new moon and you can put it on your new moon altar, just like how I talked about the full moon altar. You can also create a new moon altar. You can put it underneath your moon water. Yeah, and we're cultivating that. And maybe you put that underneath your money plant because you are bringing in that money. Also getting a little bit of dirt from the bank also is going to be like chef's kiss, cherry on top as well. Let me go to my notes. I already said moon water. Ooh, candle magic, duh. My candle magic's like my thing. I was like, I'm missing something. Candle spells. All right, so check it. Some of you are like, I can't light candles or incense. That's okay. This is what you do. You can go to Dollar Tree, or Target or Walmart or wherever, but you need to get those candles that are battery powered. I think some of you can even charge them. And that is going to be your intention candle. Okay. So, on those, you can actually place it in a bowl, right? Because they can stand on their own. And you can actually put the herbs, you can write your intention on a bay leaf, put it in there with some crystals, or just have the candle itself. And you're still creating that space. You're still using a candle for this spell. Just because you can't light it and melt it down doesn't mean that the intention is still not there. Don't let anyone knock your practice because a lot of us can't do things like blow cinnamon through the front door because we have animals, right? And some of us can't have candles because we got cats and they're crazy, right? They're just batting that shit everywhere. I get it. Or children, okay? Or maybe you're practicing on the DL. So you want to bring in elements that are for attraction, right? You can easily just grab like magnets because who's gonna know, right? Nobody's gonna know. You have your intention written down, or maybe you say it to the candle. The magnet, like you are magnetic. You are bringing these things to you, or corresponding crystals and herbs, like I said. You can write this petition. You can say it out loud. You can write it in a poem. You can just say it in your head, right? Because the intention is there as long as you have that focus. So, again, you want to clear your space. You still want to ground, center, clear out your space. And you can call in any guides or ancestors or spirit, whoever, deities, and you're bringing them in for your highest good and your highest vibration. You're going to light your candles or turn on your candle. And you're just going to either chant or recite, sing, dance, do all of the above as you are speaking your intention, as you're visualizing whatever is you want to come in or to bring in, right? And you can do this for the 3 days of the new moon. You can do it just the one day. Totally up to you. You can do this every single day until the full moon, like the whole cycle. All right. So this is totally up to you. You could burn the intention if you have it either on a bay leaf or a paper, and you can spread it outside and let the universe handle it, take care of it. If you're really practicing on the DL, you can roll it towards you and kind of rip it. You can bury it, or you can just whisper, this just has to stay between us. So I do have to throw it away, but this is what I hold near and dear to my heart. The universe knows. Yeah, obviously. So don't fret. Also, things you can do, hello, do some divination. Throw some bones, pull some tarot cards, grab yourself some runes, and you can go ahead and do all of that good stuff for divining. Another thing that would be amazing is a bath or a shower, as I said before, especially under this new moon in Cancer. You really, really, really want to connect with the water element. So if you read tarot, this would be a great time to bring out maybe go through the cup suit or this or in the major arcana, whatever has a heavy water element and what you want to bring in. Put that with your moon water to charge. Put that with on your, your new moon altar. Put that with your intention that you wrote down. Or maybe you take a picture of it and you have it as a screensaver on your phone or on your phone so that you always see it. This is where you have something that you can see it all the time so you think about it. It's like your little ritual check-in, if you will, right? So if you have one of those automatic candles that turn on, maybe it turns on right before bed, whatever bedtime is, right? And then when you see it flicker on, it's like, my intention, my abundance. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to be blessed with this, right? And then your awareness goes into it, and then you go into a dream space, and then you're really cultivating all of that energy. Ooh, all right. I love the moon. And I'm sorry, not sorry that these are a little lengthy. I know that you can kind of fast forward these, but I really want the full moon and the new moon obviously have a lot of energy. Not that I don't have a lot to talk about with the waxing and waning and quarter moons. I really do, because all of these phases are so magical. So, you know what you got to do. Start sitting, start thinking. Even if you get this on Wednesday when it drops, understand that you'll have this energy for 3 days. Maybe you just weren't ready right now and you're going to wait for the next new moon. That's okay too. It's totally fine. No one is saying it's got to be this day, got to be this new moon. No, no, no. That's not what we do. Okay? Sit with it. Feel how you feel. Remember what I said with the full moon. You really want to kind of write down how you're feeling. How do you feel under the new moon? Do you feel excited? Do you feel scared? Do you feel uneasy? Do you have trouble sleeping? Do you have vivid dreams? And you really want to see how these new moons affect you. Because maybe in the sign of Cancer, you're really feeling all your feelings, but then when the new moon is in another sign, you're feeling completely different. Or maybe you're always having vivid dreams, more vivid dreams under the new moon than the full moon, regardless of the sign that it's in. So this is really taken into account in really understanding how this energy impacts you as an individual. What are you noticing? And if you're a body that bleeds, do you bleed on the full moon or are you bleeding more on the new moon? Does this affect how you're feeling as you're manifesting, as you're doing your gratitude journal? Maybe you're ovulating at this time. So, ovulating and oh my gosh, new passions, I'm ready, but I'm still feeling a little drained. Well, that's why you got 3 days. Or now that you know this, you can plan leading up to it and maybe clean the space beforehand so that way when the new moon energy does happen and hits, you're already ready doing the minimum work. So it is so easy. You don't have to think about it. All right, gorgeous souls. I hope this was helpful. Hit me up on my socials. You know where to get a hold of me. And I want to see you on my Patreon and my newsletter. Honestly, just give yourself some grace. Take a deep breath. I know it's heavy out there. You can always come and or contact me. I am a safe space, whether you want to vent, cry, laugh, whatever. I am available because this is the time that we come together in community. This is the time where we are stronger together. Um, but you're not alone out there. All right, gorgeous soul, until next time, I will see you at the crossroads. Thank you for listening to this episode of Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'd love to hear what resonated with you, so don't be shy. Tap the links in the show notes to send a message or share your thoughts. Make sure you leave a review because your voice helps this community grow and guides others to find this podcast and their magic. Want even more enchantment between episodes? Sign up for my weekly newsletter for rituals, energy tips, and exclusive updates. And don't forget to follow me on my socials on Instagram and TikTok for your daily doses of magic, silliness, and behind-the-scene moments. If you felt a little magic today, share this episode with a friend who might need it. And until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.